How's it going today? Having fun? Hey, did you see the Ruger car down there? Yeah. Pretty excited about that. My name's Eric Lapp, and I'm the rides maintenance manager here. What we have is, in the maintenance department, we actually have 160 total employees, but that's broken down into a couple of different departments. We have 43 full-time ride mechanics here, 44 full-time ride mechanics. During the summer, we hired a couple more to help out with our inspections. We actually work 3 shifts in the summer. We work a 3rd shift, which does all the preventative maintenance on the rides. They go out there and they look at all the rides, they check the wheels, they check the bearings, the chassis, the restraints. They kind of have a checklist that they go down every night to make sure that everything works properly. First shift comes in the morning, they do some inspections in the morning, then when the park opens, they keep it running. The second shift is kind of our smallest shift during the day, and they just keep the park going when you guys are here from about 2 to 10 or 11 at night. But I want to tell you a little bit about this stuff. For 10 points, can anybody tell me what ride this is off of? Close? Millennium. Close? Close?
Maverick.
Maverick. Who said Maverick? There you go. This is a Maverick road wheel. It's actually a little bit smaller than Dragster road wheel. Can anybody tell me what this one came off of? Manus? You're probably right. I think this is a gatekeeper. It's actually a gatekeeper wheel. It's a gatekeeper wheel. Is Manus a little smaller?
No, Manus just doesn't have the things on the side to take the bearing.
Oh, okay, okay. This is it could be. It's the same type of wheel as Manus stuff. All right, for another 20 points, who can tell me the difference between these 2 wheels?
B&M and Intimate.
Polyurethane and rubber.
Yeah, there you go. So both those guys are kind of right. The material. This material here is a polyurethane material. This material here is a nylon material. This one is actually a lot harder. Anybody ever hear Manus or Raptor go around the track? What's the difference between Manus and Raptor and, let's say, Millennium? A lot louder, right? Yeah. So that loudness is because this wheel is so hard, which also makes it a little more brittle. There you go. Hear that difference? It's very hard, and because of that, it creates less rolling resistance. Maybe it wears a little bit more, but because it's so hard, you can hear how it resonates through the track. And personally, if I had my choice, I would put urethane wheels on everything, because nylon wheels just don't wear as well. Anybody want to take a guess as to why we would use these, even though we don't really like them that much? Heat. Heat? Friction. That's good too. That's good too. Heat and friction are good ones. Speed. Heat and friction equate into speed. If we put all urethane wheels like this one on, let's say, Gatekeeper, the ride wouldn't go around fast enough in the morning when it's cold out, in the fall when it's really cold, and it would just not make it around the track. So in Gatekeeper, we actually have half urethane and half nylon wheels to keep that speed right where we want it. We don't want it going too fast, and you'll notice, like during a summer day, it'll actually trim in those trim brakes, whereas during a cold morning, it'll just kind of slowly roll through those trim brakes, yeah, even when it's loaded or not loaded. So it's kind of a fine mix of where we have to set the wheels, especially on that ride on Ruger next year. I'm like I said, I'm really hoping we can put a bunch of these urethane wheels on Ruger to keep the noise down on the track. Also, you have to lubricate the track with these, and you don't really have to with these.
You don't want to.
Don't want to. No. Then they'll spin. Do like a reverse burnout. That's not good. All right, for another 25 points. Can anybody tell me what this is?
Catch car.
Catch car. There you go. You're right. And guess what's inside of this whole thing? Magnets. The basis of a lot of our braking systems here are rare earth magnets, some eddy current brakes. What happens is there's a fin that you guys, anybody ever watch Dragster? There's those fins that go up and down as it's launching. Well, right before it launches, it locks into this. This is the business end over here. What happens is the train actually locks into this pocket here. Train comes back, dog drops down, locks into this pocket, and this is actually what pushes the train. This is connected to the front of it, and there's a cable socket there, as Zach will point out. That's connected to wire ropes, 2 wire ropes. It sits about there, there's one on each side. So you got 2 wire ropes, and there's sections of the wire rope sitting right there. They actually pull this from 0 to 120 miles an hour. Now, connected to the back, you actually have another one that's the same diameter. It goes around a pulley and then back to the hydraulic room. So as it winds in 1 revolution on the winch drum out in the hydraulic room, it actually winds out 1 revolution and keeps tension on this thing going up and down the track. So we know exactly where it is at any given time. So back to the magnets. That whole system. Anybody guess how much this thing weighs? 2 tons. I would say about 1.5 tons. It weighs a lot. You can't pick it up. It's got these magnets inside that are very heavy. It's got all these glides that actually glide on the plastic inside the track. The wire ropes are going at 120 miles an hour. The gearbox is spinning. All the internal components of the gearbox are spinning. The 16,000-pound winch drum is spinning at 540 RPM. All that inertia is built up, and we have to slow it down real quick. And that's what these magnets do. They're in here. Could I ask you guys to move back here? I got a little experiment for you to do. Over here with the train. This is this is actually a dragster chassis turned upside down. And what you have here are the magnets that actually stop the train on the way back. So the train comes back, you see those fins sticking up in the track, and the magnets react on the fins to slow down the train. Well, they don't touch. It's not like your car. It's not like your car that grabs the caliper. Your caliper grabs your rotor in your car, right? And it squeezes it to slow it down. Well, on these, you don't even have to touch. It's the magnetic flux, the magnetic field that actually slows it down. So on Dragster, we actually have a fin made up of a conductive material, which is copper. This is aluminum here, which is very conductive. We actually have aluminum fins on Gatekeeper and like Wicked Twist, you can see them above the train. But it sits between these two magnets here. Who's the strongest guy here? She's pointing to you. Come on over here. All right, so what it does is it very quickly, at 120 miles an hour, with this very small clearance, it pulls this fin through the magnet and slows down the train from 120 miles an hour to 0. Go ahead and give that a tug. Pull it straight out. As hard as you can. Come on. Come on. You're pulling hard, aren't you? Yeah. Now pull it really slow. It takes a lot less force to pull it slow than it does to pull it hard, right? Yeah. And really, you're not moving any faster. The faster you go through these magnets, the more force is exerted. Thank you very much. The more force is exerted on the train to slow it down. And the material, whether it's aluminum, copper, the more conductive the material it is, the more force you're going to have slowing it down. It also has to do with the type of magnets that are on there. But those same magnets are in these slots here on this sketch car as well. And that's what slows you down on this one, on Twister, on Maverick, all those rides. You'll also notice that those brakes will never completely stop you. They actually can't stop the train. So on those rides, we have kicker wheels that push you around the track. Little tour of our shop here. This is where we do Millennium, Maverick, Dragster. This is actually our welding shop in here. Around here, we have kind of the work area where the guys do Millennium over there, kind of on that side, and they kind of have Maverick set over here. After we do repairs on chassis, a lot of times we bring them in the paint shop over here, and you can see some chassis in there on your way out to your painter. This is kind of the headquarters. We also have another shop which is across from Castaway Bay at Cleveland Road. We haul everything that we need to do over there. We have about 2/3 of our workforce is actually over there. It's about 1/3 in here. So we haul the chassis over there, the Raptor, Gatekeeper, a lot of the aero rides, the Corkscrew, the Magnum. We actually do those over there at the Cleveland Road shop. So we got about 30 guys over there as well. Questions, guys?
Who's the manufacturer of the wheels?
A company out of Euromat. Actually, he asked who's the manufacturer of wheels. We send these out to be coated. A company in California called Euromat. And they actually mold this polyurethane around the wheel. And it costs about $250, $300 each time we want to redo that. We go through several a day in the summer. The hotter it is, the more failures we'll have on a wheel. The wheel kind of will get real hot in the center of it. A ride like Millennium Force will tend to, because it's very long and fast, will tend to build up a lot more heat on the wheels than, let's say, a Dragster, where it's very fast, but it also doesn't have time to heat up. It has a lot of time to cool down. So, Dragster kind of wear out, like the outside of them wear out.
Yeah,
and they last a year and a half, depends where they are. I'd say you probably do one every other day. Millennium, it's probably maybe a little more like 2 a day. During like the hot parts of summer, maybe even more.
How much experience do you need to work in maintenance?
The ride mechanics, we need a good, he asked how much experience or what kind of training we have for these fellows. And what we do is we kind of have an apprenticeship program where we'll bring some people in that have a good mechanical background, and then we'll kind of train them to be, ride mechanics. Shameless plug for the ride maintenance department. If you guys know anybody that would like to be a seasonal ride mechanic this summer who has a good mechanical background, over the age of 18, likes to work on cars, anything mechanical, we have jobs open. So you guys should throw that in there. How much the wheels weigh? The wheel, this wheel is actually very heavy. It has a thick aluminum hub. I'd say it's 20 pounds. It's fairly heavy, but not too heavy. There's bearings inside here. They're all made out of aluminum mostly.
Millennium earlier, saw seemed like the cables. You guys take that cable system apart?
We do. We actually removed the Millennium catch car, which is sitting right over there on the other side of the shop. That's actually the catch car that hooks into the train. The wire rope hooks to the front of that chain, which is we call it a chain. It's a catch car. Comes down. And it's got a big. It's a big length of it after where the cable connects. That goes back in the station, hooks up to the car, and then drags it up the lift. Every 2 years, we actually replace the wire ropes on Millennium lift and do this year. We still take that catch car part every year and refurbish it.
So does it look like the catch car?
Yes, with the catch car looks, it's actually sitting over there. It's like links to the chain over there. Yeah, it's pretty much that's a.
How far does that cable stretch over 2 years? Is that way? Is there
Not much. And there's a counterweight to make up for it. It doesn't stretch that much. Steel doesn't really stretch. It'll wear some shivs a little bit. And the initial stretch, which is probably, a couple feet for a cable that long. And then after that, it really doesn't do much at all.
Is there more maintenance on something like Millennium or an old one?
He asked, what has more maintenance? A newer ride or an older ride? And you'll notice like the newer rides have a very smooth ride on them, whereas you ride like Blue Streak or let's even say a steel coaster like Corkscrew, it's a little rougher. Well, every night the ride mechanics go out and every one of these wheels on Maverick have a cam system on them. So we use a spacer gauge. We actually put a spacer gauge between the bogie, which holds the wheels, and the track. And we have to level that out each night. If it gets down to a certain point where the wheel wears out too much, we have to replace it. So there's a lot more maintenance on the newer rides that have the better gripping system for the track and a lot smoother than the old ones. And that's why you can go a lot faster with that than you can something. You can be very uncomfortable if it's not very precisely aligned. Whereas you really can't. These older rides, they're just there's a fixed distance on those wheels and bogies. All you can do is replace the wheels to make them a little tighter. Whereas every night we have to go out and maintain Dragster, Millennium, Maverick, Twister, very precise. Twisters and Twister and Maverick are very hard because you also have to align the fins, the stators on Maverick and the fins on Twister very precisely. You see how close that fin went through that magnet, and that's going through that magnet 120 miles an hour, so you can't even afford to be off by a quarter inch. Which ride's the hardest to work on? They're all the same. It just depends what you have to do. Oh, he asked, like on Millennium or Dragster, if the aircraft light goes out, you know, the aircraft warning lights on top, how long you have to replace them? What we have to do is report it to the FAA. There's like this form you fax in, and then I don't think there's any like set time, but we try to do it as quick as possible. Some of those lower ones, I don't even think you need the lower ones in Dragster, but we send like this form in the FAA just to let people know that the light's out. But we try to keep it going. He asked, what's the hardest to replace the aviation bulb? If you guys ever look at Dragster, there's two lights. There's one light on top which is easy to get to. There's two on the catwalk. And there's one all the way towards the backbone of Dragster. That one you have to like rope your fell out to get it. It's no fun. It's at 200 feet too, so you really can't even get a man lift or crane up there too. So. Sure. All right, thank you very much, guys.